everybody, I'm Nick, and welcome to the final extra episode of Final Fantasy VII. And yes, I know I'm sitting Cloud in there with the Buster Sword. It's just a case of, I don't care, I'm just throwing magic on him, and we're just gonna have some fun, okay? Because I mainly want to cover how Sephiroth works a bit more with how his HP stat and some of his other stats work. So, it mainly starts around 80k, but for every character you have at level 99, you can get up to 8 more instances of 30k HP. And another thing I forgot is if you use Knights of the Round on Genova Absolute, I believe I got that right. Yeah. You get, Sephiroth gets another 80k hit points. And I just kind of speed through stuff here because it's just like, I don't really care about all this stuff. You saw this in the main recording, so I'm just kind of mashing through this as fast as I can. Because the main thing you're here for is watching me utterly destroy the end of the game, because it's like, well, I wanted to show that Sephiroth got more hit points at level 99. Well, I guess I had to realize it was specifically each character's instance of level 99. As you can see, I've only got 3 of them here. Whoops! I could have made him harder if I decided to grind, but honestly, I only wanted the 3 characters to grind up, and that's about it. Also, I sped things up because who really cares about this? Plus, maybe copyright won't get me this time. Although I may be tempting fate because the Sephiroth and God, what is the Bizarro Sephiroth? Those 2 forms will be at full speed along with Genova Absolute. So there's that. Also, you get to see in double speed the animation of the escape magic, which I forget where you've got this, but I find it very handy. Because for these sections, it's like it takes forever and a day to run away, so I'm just gonna shatter the screen and just be like, fuck this, we out. We out of this bitch. I don't want to deal with these dragon zombies. I do not want to deal with these iron giants. They are not what I'm here for. I could also have used smoke bombs, but you know what? Nah. I have the spell with Master Magic, so why not use it? I keep all the ribbons though because I'm not a dummy this time. I ain't fighting Sephiroth without that thing. And you could also interpret his name as Sephiroth because he also kind of has that angelic design and not like some pure design where it's like a human body with like white feathery wings, maybe more like an angel that has some really bizarre design. This is like, what the hell is this thing? Like, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen some of the designs, holy shit. Holy shit, those are intense. Anywho, we're gonna be back to normal speed for the rest of the video. So yeah. Once again, I'm just going to be mashing through the text because I just want to get to Genova Absolute. Speaking of which, here's the bitch! And now I am actually properly wielding the Buster Sword for this cutscene, so, ha! It gets to work! Though I never actually attack with it up until the end where you actually have to use a limit break. And then for most of this, I literally just go Ultima spam, even though it would be much more efficient to use 4 times cut. Oh well. Though it would have been funny hacking away at all the enemies with the Buster Sword, with this literally weakest weapon. Although you can kind of say I've also equipped it for a more story purpose. Because Cloud's the 3rd wielder of this thing if you've played any of the other Final Fantasy VII games. With Zack and Angeal, that's the guy's name. Zack's mentor and soldier. But if you know the events of Crisis Core, whoo boy. Whoo boy. So if anything, you can kind of call when I get to Sephiroth at the end for that scene where I have to use Omni Slash. We just call that poetic justice. The final time the Buster Sword ultimately gets used. Isn't that a satisfying reason to use it? At least I think so, if you're over-leveled like myself. Anywho, here's that 60k, that's the most amount of experience a single enemy will give in the game. And I just cut right to Bizarro Sephiroth. And the game actually prompted me to make multiple teams this time around. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe that's a thing where if you leave the crater and go back. And if you switch teams, that Bizarro energy won't be used whatsoever. But since, you know, I'm OP as shit, and I'm gonna be spamming Ultima all the way through, yeah. Well, I also try out Flare at some point, just because I never used it. Turns out it actually is Fire Elemental, unlike other games where it's non-elemental. Oops. Well, you'll see the oops at some point. Also a funny thing, Safer Sephiroth, his hit points are reduced by 100 every time the head is killed, for a maximum reduction of over like 20k or something. Anywho, this part where it's just like I'm standing there is because parts of Sephiroth are dying, and there's not really a whole fat lot I can do. So there's that. Just kind of waiting for, you know, I can actually have my actions go on because you see weight there. It even prompts you to swap to other party members, but I'm like, nah, they're not even equipped. They're not even properly equipped. But yeah, the core's taking 0 damage because the other parts are still standing. But I ultimately just kind of, oh, I hear my cat. Oh dear. I might as well just pet her while I'm doing this. That's what I get for letting her inside. Them's to be the breaks, though. Hey, what are you doing? There we go. There's a cat. Sometimes she'll just sit in the other office chair. Although she usually meows at me after she's done with food, like she wants out. That's just cat life. Specifically, indoor-outdoor cat life. Hey, Bizarro Energy, piss off! Although this is the part of flare casting where you get to see 0 damage, because it aimed for the core. I don't think some of these spells work properly with Mega All. I don't know, or just the all effect period. Then again, I think there was definitely deadlines for this game to get out there, so I don't think the W item glitch would exist if the game had a little more time in the oven. Just gonna say that. Although my money problems wouldn't necessarily be there because they made all materia sell for 1.4 million gil. I'm not gonna have money problems. Excuse me. Odd thing about myself is that whenever my internal body temperature decides to change, it can make me sneeze like that a bit uncontrollably. And of course, my characters are dipshits and decide to attack the core with their 4x cut. And I decided to throw a Mega Elixir just because fuck it. Although I think, no, this Ultima doesn't finish it, because I think I get to heal my MP after this. Yeah, after this. Because I've only killed the head once. I did not use Knights of the Round on Genova Absolute. So I think I really only gave Safer Sephiroth an extra slightly under 90k hit points, in addition to his 80k starting. So what you're gonna see once we get to Safer Sephiroth is an absolute massacre. Like, holy shit. He is getting destroyed. Yeah, I know I'm kind of spoiling things, but it's like, you saw my stats. What do you expect? Like, really? What are you expecting at this point? I guess at this point I could just kind of be like, my ultimate experiences with Final Fantasy VII's post-game is just like, well, definitely figuring out strategies for dealing with Emerald and Ruby weapon was fun. Although I think, I'm trying to think which Final Fantasy post-game was the best for me. And this is even including things like the Game Boy Advance ports, which include extra content. Sorry, cat is meowing at me. The mic will likely have picked it up. Anywho. I feel like I've been spoiled on the advance ports extra content, like 6s, giving you this huge extra dungeon with a boss that was originally cut from the game. Thanks, Kaiser Dragon. I may or may not get to that, depending on which version of Final Fantasy VI I decide to Let's Play. So that's fun. That's fun. And I also leave the initial transition, which apparently there was supposed to be text with this, but yeah, we're just going right into Safer Sephiroth. And once again, I'll be spamming the usual stuff. So that's fun. Cloud will just be spamming Ultima all day, every day. And the other characters, well, we get to do 4 times cut. Which if you saw in my other videos of Emerald and Ruby weapon, boy did they die! It took a while, but they died. And even then, Safer Sephiroth's maximum hit points can get to maybe like, what, 400k? That's like half of Ruby weapons. But then again, Safer Sephiroth is in all versions of the game, unlike the original Japanese version, which didn't have the weapons. So that's kind of shitty. At least it didn't have Ruby and Emerald weapon. You can kind of tell those things are far stronger than anything else in the whole game. And yeah, taking out the barrier, I only need 1 casting, but I'm forced to use it 4 times. That's what I get for equipping Quadra Magic. Also, shield is supposed to target everybody, but once again, it doesn't function properly. So I should have just targeted someone else. Oh well. And for some reason it costs like 180 MP, which is like the 2nd largest cat. It's the most amount of MP a normal spell costs. Like, Pandora's Box doesn't even cost that much. It costs the same as fucking Ultima. And as you can see, I really should have just used 4 times cut, but I just decided using Comet was fun. Cause I'm kind of sandbagging this, let's be real. I could just destroy him with Knights of the Round. But I decided, fuck it, let's just toy with Safer Sephiroth instead. So why not just smack him with 8 Ultimas in the face all at once? Although I wouldn't be surprised if Quadra Magic actually reduced the power of your spells, unlike 4 times cut, which does not reduce the power of your physical attacks. Which is kind of silly, because they do have Mastered Magic Plus materia equipped. Ultima should not be doing this low numbers, but oh well. That's what I get for equipping Quadra Magic. Dams do indeed be the breaks. My cat Tofu is just like, pet me, please. Yes, Tofu, we will pet you. Sneaky cat. Anywho, with destroying final boss and stuff, with the length of the video you see here, he's not even gonna get to use anything past rising up into the air, because that's how bad I'm trashing him. And also another thing I read is his pattern's actually set in stone, so that's neat. You can actually prepare for him. But it's not, well, my preparation is I'm gonna throw as much damage in your face as I can. So that's fun. I think I destroy him with another 4 times cut once he goes in the air. Which, are you gonna do that? Yeah, there he goes. Up in the air he goes. He's not even gonna be able to, oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, you see these damage numbers? Yeah, you're kinda toast, as you can see. You, my good friend, although you're not a good friend at all, are dead. Thanks for playing. See ya, bitch. Goodbye. And once this is done and over with, we'll be cutting right over to Sephiroth getting his ass kicked with the Buster Sword for some poetic justice. And that will ultimately be the last, this is the last video of Final Fantasy VII. If I ever come back to this, it's gonna be with like co-commentary or something, or it's gonna be when all the parts of the remake are out, and I'll do that game. So there's that. And I even throw the cutscene back in too, just because there's not really a good way to transition into it otherwise. I guess I can finally say something about this part, though. I left it silent in the original story just because mood. So this version of Sephiroth, he can attack you if you choose not to throw out Omni Slash right away. It won't ever kill you. It does percent-based damage. And because you always start the fight at full, you can't lose. And I believe if he attacks you, you counterattack, and he dies. So there's that. I think if anything, it's like he has like 1 HP as well. But I go for the Omni Slash finish just because, fuck you, Sephiroth. I'm hitting you with the weakest weapon in the game. Or at least the weakest weapon Cloud can equip. So I think I'm just gonna sit back and let you watch Omni Slash with the Buster Sword. Have fun. Take that, asshole. Take that. Anywho, I hope you've ultimately enjoyed this Let's Play of Final Fantasy VII. For what's coming next to the channel, I have a Let's Play of Croc, Legend of the Gobos, lining up. So I'm hoping you enjoy that. I have some history with specifically the sequel. I never got into the first one, and oh boy, this is going to be an experience. I've only played the first level of it, and oh boy. Though I'm going to save my comments for that when we get to it. So ultimately, I'm just going to say, I'm Nick, and I'll see you guys next time.